Okay, so the ASP.NET tools are now installed, and I'm going to create a new project. And I think I will go with, let's see, there it is, ASP.NET Web Application, the .NET framework. And I am going to do a simple little body mass index calculator because I like that formula. I like the simplicity. So I'm going to call that BMI calc. I'll say ASP. Okay, and I think here I'm just going to go with an empty project to keep things simple. I will turn around and add a web form as soon as the project is ready. Okay, so here I am in my empty project, and just like you would add a Windows form to a project, you would right-click on the project name in bold and do an add. And yeah, the web form, you can just grab it right from the shortcut menu. And I think I'm going to call this main page. How about that? Because this is ultimately a web page that's going to display in our browser. So what it does is it'll start you out looking at the markup code or the HTML code for this web page, and obviously this is not C# code that we're looking at, but there is going to be some C# code. Let me, one thing I'll say, you probably, unless you are experienced with web HTML and CSS and all that, then you probably won't be poking around in here much at all. So you can just close this up and pretty much forget about it for the most part if you're going to do just a simple play around with simple little applications. I think what I'm going to do, just to make the front end simpler, I'm just going to wipe out some of these tags and just so I have the body of the web page. It'll be like just a blank canvas that I can drop some controls in. This is for me streamlining in the interest of simplicity and just, keeping it kind of small and not going off in all these other directions. So I'll go ahead and save that, and I'm going to close that. And if you look at me over here in the Solution Explorer, I can right-click on the main page, and we have some options here. View the markup is going to open the file that I just closed, the HTML for that page. And Designer is going to show me like the canvas, like kind of like our gray form in the Windows Forms project, but it's not going to be gray. It's just going to be a blank white kind of web page, or just a blank white canvas. Viewing the code, we don't have any code yet, but that will show us, well, we have a little bit of C# code, but I have not obviously coded anything yet. But so you have the kind of the code behind the page as well. So you really have the HTML, then you have the designer view, and then you have the C# code, which we'll get to. So you have 3 different views, as opposed to in our Windows Forms application, we only have the code and the gray form. So let me go ahead and view the designer. Okay, so I just have this body tag because I deleted the other ones just to make it nice and clean. But here I am going to start dragging and dropping my controls. And speaking of controls, we have the toolbox here on the left, and it doesn't look quite the same as our Windows Forms toolbox. Yes, there are some tools that are the same, but some of them are not. And I should warn you that the feel of this designer is not what you're used to. You're not going to have the same amount of control that you have in Windows Forms. It's very awkward when you're first getting started. So I am going to just add a label here. I just drag and drop. I dropped it into the body tag. And if you need some space, you can open up. I feel like I'm in the different tag now. Yeah, I don't want that. Now I'm in the form tag. Hang on here. Let me do that again. I'm going to get some space there in the body, and now I'm going to drop the label there. Okay, so there's my label. This is not an essential control. It's just a prompt for the user. So we'll say enter height in inches. And I think I'm going to size this explicitly. Let's say 300 pixels. Okay. And okay, so far so good. And I will plop a text box to the right of it. Now this is an essential control, which we will call txt height. Txt height. Okay, so there's that so far, and I guess I could pull back on the width a little bit. And you'll see once I run this and it runs in the browser, it's going to be more spread out. Again, it's this control thing. You really have to kind of let go of that. Okay, so I am going to drop another, let me see if I'm going to delete this, see if I can cut this paragraph tag here. Maybe I have multiples. I guess I don't. Okay. I am going to drop another label. Oh, maybe I'll just drop it right in there. Okay, so this one is going to be enter weight in pounds. And then again, I will drop a text box. Let me see if I can get these the same size more or less. I'm having trouble getting just awkwardness. Well, I'm gonna, okay, so that's 149 pixels. I'm gonna change this one to 149 pixels. Okay, so let's see here. And then, oh, another text box here. And I will call that, whoops, txt weight. Okay, so maybe I'll put this on pause for just a moment. I'll finish with a button and like a display label at the bottom so we can display the BMI. And then I will run it. Okay, so I finished the rest of the interface. We have a calculate button, and I just grabbed from the toolbox, and then another label to be the result label once we have the BMI to display. So what I'll do now is add some code. I already wrote the code. I'm just going to paste it into here, and you'll see the code is identical to what we would have done like in a Windows Forms application. So I will, as if this were a Windows Forms application, just double click that calculate button. Now it looks like we're in our, normal environment, our usual designer for the Windows Forms. So I just paste it in. Again, parsing the text boxes. You've done all this before for me. And yeah, calculating the body mass index with our formula and then updating the label text. So I'm going to go ahead and run this now. And we'll see. It's going to open in a browser. Let's see here. I have a little bit of a surprise here. It's asking about a security warning, which is fine. I do trust this. So I'm just going to go ahead and say yes. Okay, so here at the browser, I'm being warned about this. This is fine. I can bypass this. This happened to me on my laptop also, so this will probably happen to you. We'll just click that advanced button. And that'll give us an opportunity to accept the risk and continue. I don't know if you saw that at the bottom. It's accept the risk and continue. Okay, so finally I am looking at my web page. Obviously it's nothing exciting, but let's go ahead and enter like a 60-inch person, 100 pounds, and we'll calculate. And there is the BMI. So you can see it's working. I know this video is getting long, but I have a couple more things to say. Look at the web address here. I didn't do it. I didn't type that in. I just ran the program, and I'll close that. When you run, you're running it on the IIS Express. That's the Microsoft Internet Information Server. And let me show you the picture here. You know, I had mentioned this in the last video. This is the architecture. You have your web browser. In my case, I was using Firefox, and my program was running on the IIS server, or the web server. And then my code, you know, with calculating the BMI and all that, my C# code was executing on the application server. And then there's no database involved here. So the thing is, though, and this is typical, like when you're in a little student environment and you install these on your machine, you're like working on your laptop or you're on your desktop at home. All of these components involved are on the same machine. It's your computer. Like I'm on my computer at home. I don't have a web server here. I don't have a separate server anywhere in my house. It's just my local C drive that is acting as all three of these. My C drive is doing triple duty here as we're testing. So in a real environment, you would have the web server and application server on an actual server at a facility somewhere, perhaps, and then people from all over the world access those servers through their web browsers, clients through their web browsers. So that's kind of the setup here. It's like a 3-in-1 thing going on, which is, as I said, typical in a learning or academic environment. Okay, so that is it for this video. In the next video, I'm going to talk to you tell you how to do some basic validation on the text boxes.